I just want to say I'm super impressed because my computer is still not on the internet. And I know some of your guys is not on the internet. And that's okay. I think what's more important than writing your ideas in the Google document is just having the conversations about how you would respond to these questions. The Google document is nice because later on, when you have internet access and you can get to the Google document, you can see what other people had to say and learn from your peers. But I think just the conversations themselves are what's most important. So if at any point today we hit a question and you guys can't get on the document or you can't get on whatever it is I want you to, just have those conversations, because that's where the real value is just talking with your coworkers about what you think about these things. Okay, step number 2. So I'm going to ask you guys to try to come away from your computers. When I'm with my students in the computer lab, and they all have a computer in front of me, or them, which is more interesting, I guess, than me, I say, D-screen. And they put their hands up. It looks like I'm robbing them or something. But they put their hands up while I give them directions. So if you guys can kind of de-screen and just stay with me, we'll have another opportunity for you guys to get online and try to do what we're doing together. So the second step, once you have really identified clear behaviors, online conduct, what you expect, given them those expectations, or worked as a class to decide how are they going to act online, then you want to build community online. And I think that the best way to do this is using online icebreakers. So online icebreakers are nice because it gives students a chance to just try it out, right? Because now I usually give them this list of things that I don't want them to do, a list of things I want them to do, and I want them to think about that in a fun conversation before I ask them to really participate in a very academic conversation, because then they're juggling a lot, right? They're thinking about, oh, Tucker's do's and don'ts, and they're thinking about English. I just want them to have fun and get to know each other online. A big part of online community is you want to get kids comfortable so they feel confident sharing their ideas and asserting their personalities online. So I have a bunch of icebreakers. My book has, I want to say there's like 16 icebreakers for students. And then if you're working with younger kids, there are parent-student icebreakers that ask students to have conversations with their parents. So parents can start to understand, what is it that my child is doing online? It invites parents into the conversation, and it makes those online discussions much less threatening in case parents are wondering, what exactly is my child doing online for school? So I post questions like this one. So at the beginning of the year, I ask students, go online, participate in this online discussion or this online icebreaker. We have a bunch of them. And this one asks students, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? So then you have kids choosing, and I gave them some ideas. You know, the ability to stop time, the ability to be invisible, the ability to read other people's minds, the ability to heal the sick. Ironically, my high school students think they want to read everybody's mind. I think that this would not be such a good idea, but they seem very fascinated with what everybody else is thinking about them. And so they start very slowly. And you notice that first example, how long those responses were. Look at how they're pretty short, right? It's just a chance for them to try it out. And they make mistakes. And I like that because I can take examples from online and we can talk about what was strong, what could be better, what do's and don'ts were violated, how can we fix it. Because they're really casual conversations, they will use text message talk. They will use, emoticons and like little smiley faces. And those are all things that I tell them you just don't do when you're having online discussions for a class. So they start to learn the boundaries of how do I communicate in this space How do I communicate in this space? And so oftentimes, I'll just copy and paste a collection of their responses to the icebreakers, and I'll just paste them onto a document. And then I'll use my projector, and I'll project them onto my whiteboard, because I don't have a smart board, I don't have anything like that. So I just project it onto my whiteboard. There are no names, and I have students take whiteboard markers and just point out what is being done well, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be added, where is there a mistake. And so it gets them all like up at the whiteboard, correcting the work that was done online, and they begin to think critically about the work that they've done online. So the next time they go on, their responses are much stronger. So I would love at least one person at each table. If you had trouble with the internet before, don't bother, don't waste your time, I don't want you to get frustrated. Instead, just scoot your chair next to the person who successfully got online, and I would love to have you guys engage in an icebreaker on the website that I use, which is Schoology. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to Schoology.com, and Schoology.com is on the Facebook page with all of the other links, so Schoology.com, and up in the corner, it'll say sign up, and it's going to ask you if you're an instructor or a student. But for me, right now, you're my student. So you need to choose the student. And then it's going to ask you for a code, and the code is right here. The code is also on the Facebook page as well, so you can grab both of them. Once you get in, you're going to see an icebreaker. You want to click on that icebreaker, read the directions, and try to engage. I'm going to give you guys about 7 minutes to do this. I'll walk around and help you as needed. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys to wrap up your conversations. Yeah, right. Look it, see? I love it. Okay. So I've made a cardinal mistake. I've given you something that's fun that is not me, right? But now I want you to come back, yeah, de-screen, come back to me, yeah? Because this is not going away, and I would tell anybody who is going to use, like if you're using your cell phone or if your kids might use their cell phones, there's a Schoology app that you can get so that the experience of using, the experience of using it on your phone is much better, and it's free, so that's helpful. Okay. So, now, you all participated, theoretically, in the icebreaker. Imagine your students participating in the icebreaker. The first responses you get, they're not going to be amazing. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? They're going to be underdeveloped. They're going to make mistakes. So what I have for you is on the Google Doc with the columns, with the questions that we did before, I have underneath that first part, there's another part that has this screenshot. And you can't see it here, but what I did is I took a picture of one of my classes, the very first icebreaker they did, so you can see what kind of mistakes students make, so that you're not surprised, so you can think about, okay, what did they do well? What did they not do very well? How can we fix it? So I want you to go back to that Google document where we had the 3 columns with the 3 questions, and you can just look at this. You don't even need to type it in if that was a hassle the first time. Instead, just kind of read through these student responses in your table group and talk about, okay, first time out the gate, what did they do pretty good? What really needs some work, okay? So I want to give you just like 4 minutes to talk about that, and then we'll move on. But I want you to see what you should expect, because this is the reality of teaching. They will start down here, we're going to support them, and they'll get here. It just takes a little bit of time. All right, go back to the Google Doc, have those conversations.